Hi students, we have completed 57 lessons as part of BA Public Administration with the title of Introduction to Public Administration. This discussion is a review of what we have learned in these 57 lessons and what are the important aspects of these particular lessons. So, what is public administration? See, the point is, as we discussed in our lesson, public and administration, they are the two different words, ad and ministrate. From there we have finally given public administration. There was a discussion, public administration means, public means what? Is a government or a people? Is a fundamental question all the time comes. Public means, if it is a people, is it a people's administration? If it is a public means government, it is a governmental administration. What we are generally going to discuss about is public administration means government in action, government in execution. This is the basic simple definition of public administration. We have discussed about Woodrow Wilson definition, Dimmock and Dimmock definition, Herbert Simon definition. We have discussed various things as a part of our lesson. But at the same time, what is the relation between public administration and the state? State is an important. Without state we are not there. India is a state, USA is a state, France is a state, Bangladesh is a state. State means a country. Political thinkers generally say that state is one of the basis for any society, including public administrators, sociologists and all. Why I am saying political scientist means majority of discussions, articles, books etc. on the state are written by the political scientists. Now, what is state? According to the simple meaning or a simple definition and explanation, state is going to have four important elements. The four important elements, first is the people, second is about place, third is about government, fourth is about sovereignty. People, without a people there is nothing. Then place, people has to be in a place and people has to have a government to control and a government has to having sovereignty, sovereign power. India is a sovereign power, Indian government controlled by the Constitution of India, elected parliament, elected cabinet, president. This is the structure of a sovereign power. So, state means people, people who are living in a place elected by a people elected government having about sovereignty. Some of the continents, for example, even in Africa, even in about South America, some parts there are a dictatorial governments are there, people there is not elected by the government. There were some wars are going on, nowadays we are seeing the between the Russia and Ukraine and all these things, there are some wars are going on. In some other countries there was a internal struggles are going on, right from 1990 onwards Somalia is facing a problem, a state without a government. So, example we have in a on this globe we have a plenty of examples of with state without government, without a sovereign government, but state with people and place. Now, where the public administration comes? Along with these four elements, another important fifth element is institutions. What are the institutions? Educational institution, your university is in one institution, maintained by a particular authority, a vice chancellor, an executive council, a senate, a written act amended by government, governor as a chancellor. All these things, it is an institution controlled by a elected government assembly or a parliament. You have a central universities controlled by central government, state universities controlled by state governments, private universities controlled by the private systems. You have a hospitals, hospitals is an institution. You have a public service commissions is an institutions. You have a municipality which taking care of your daily needs is an institution. All these are institutions also working in government. Public administration is how the activity of government is there. administration is not a new phenomena. So, one of the oldest phenomena as we can link it up with the advancement of human civilization. People were staying under a trees and a different part thing and branches, they used to have a small houses and all. Even at that time, even in a tribal systems of a society, ancient models are everywhere you can read out. If somebody want to go and kill an animal, there is a group activity is required. Somebody shout, somebody throw an arrow, so somebody will cut it into pieces, somebody will distribute. All these called division of work, coordination, etc. Hence, this division of work, coordination are established along with the human advancement. Now, whatever we are talking in a government institutions, there is a division of work, there is a coordination, there is a hierarchy, a system, a rule, regulation. Now, all these are written. At the time it was not written. It was a practice the human beings learned. So, administration is not a new phenomena. It has grown along with the human civilization. It has advanced along with the advancement of human civilization, and at present we are doing with this. Now, public administration, there we have an offices, a bureaucracy, a secretariat, a municipal commissioner, everywhere a vice chancellor, a registrar. You go to any institution, whether it is a public or a private, it is manned by the people and it is controlled by the rules, and the whole functioning is based on a clear cut systems. Hence, public administration is everywhere. Along with this, states have become a welfare societies, welfare states, taking care of the people and other things all. Then they are giving about a lot of development programs. Various development programs are coming up. States from central government to state government to district government to local government, a divisions has come. And how to go to the public? You can have a Prime Minister Awas Yojana. You have about Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Program. You have a double bedroom house. You have a once upon a time 2 rupees kg rice, now it is they are having 1 rupee kg rice. You have a subsidies for a gas cylinders. A plenty of activities from the government is coming to the public. Universities, sometimes they are increasing the fees, reducing the fees, and governments they are giving about a fees, whatever you have paid is going to be returned to you. Government are giving a scholarships and other things to students, fellowships to various research scholars. All these are activities are a government activities. These activities are controlled, manned by administrative systems. That is why a government is an important for the state, vis-a-vis an administration is also important to the state. Without this, a government cannot go to the public, a political party cannot go to the public and ask the votes again. So, the important role occupied by the public administrators. All the time in India, though it started in 1772, collector system is an important one. District collector is an important personality. He controls everything, and Tahsildar, and you have a village level officers, village development officer, all these type of things, right from Prime Minister, Cabinet Secretary to Chief Secretary, various department secretaries to a collector, then Tahsildars, then municipal commissioners, then village level workers, mandal development officers. All this is a networked administrative system. Without this, you cannot expect any government activity. The another important aspect is public administration is an interdisciplinary in nature. We have, there is a discussion that whether administration and management, whether they go together or separate, or which is a higher, which is a lower. It is an important discussion actually, administration and management. Administration is a broad word, management is managing the things at the lower level. This is what accepted things, though some people, management people may differ with this, but administration is a general activity of everywhere. Management is particularly related to a particular system, situation and institution. Administration and management. Administration and politics, because without a political system, there is no state, there is no government. So, public administration has to work with a political system. That is why the famous writer and former President of America, Woodrow Wilson, said, the public administration is the latest fruit of political science tree. So, we cannot ignore the political systems. At the same time, we have a relation with economics, economy of a society, how it is going to be work, how the things are happening. Then sociology, we have to work with the social systems, communities, languages, regions, divisions, gender. We have to, nowadays we are working with the computer systems, public administration and e-governance, electronics, how the technology is operating and the changing systems. Previously everything in the file is a manual level. Now it is not a manual system, it is a computer based system. Hence, whenever we compare all these type of things, public administration is an interdisciplinary in nature, and also we have relation with law. Law is one of the important thing, courts, administration and etc., etc. So, as a students of public administration, whenever we discuss about introduction, the introduction is going to be related with all these type of things. In the evolution of a public administration, the first important thing is going to be called as dichotomy of a politics and administration. The public administration as a discipline was identified only in 1887 by Woodrow Wilson. Woodrow Wilson, it was a MA final year student, he wrote an article. First he has given 3 drafts and finally he has given the study of administration. The study of administration was published in the Political Science Quarterly at the time in 1887. In that he raised some fundamental questions, differences between the politics and administration and also the interrelation between the politics and administration. He said, all administrative questions are not political questions. For example, a recruitment, advertisement, training, salary, etc., internal administration, hierarchy, things are working here and there, information, communication, all whichever the administration works are not related to political systems. But at the same time, the political questions or political systems is compulsory for public administration. That is why he called it as a dichotomy of politics and administration. Dichotomy means one side it is a related, another side it seems to be it is not related. And moreover, Wilson said, you have to learn from others. Comparison is every time is important. If you are not comparing, you are not going to learn. The important thing is you have to compare. That is why he said, I have seen a murderer who is sharpening his knife to kill somebody. I want to learn how to sharpen a knife, but not to kill somebody, to protect myself or protect others, but I want to learn it. So, in a comparison, a particular European administrative system is created for that country, but we have to take some from there. So, this is some of the important aspects of the Woodrow Wilson, which has raised in his theory, in his article, the study of administration. By the 1900, the important aspect has come, Goodnow. Goodnow actually has raised one, he also from United States, he was the president of American Political Science Association first as a subject of law and other things. So, Goodnow said politics and administration two different issues, it has to be separated. Dichotomy means it is not, it has to be separated. Politics are separate, administration are separate. This is where Goodnow started about explaining about public administration political science relations. Though Goodnow is basically from a law background, and he was also an important man at the time in the United States of America, and also one of his great contribution was he visited China at that time and said the written constitution is not going to help at all to China. We can't run a China with a constitution. That was he said at the time. So, it is okay, but the question is Whenever we talk of a dichotomy of politics and administration, Wilson said politics and administration is having a correlation, at the same time different type of aspects, whereas Goodenough said it has to be dichotomized, completely separated. Politics and administration are two different aspects. Second, in the evolution of public administration, first is 1887, then 1900. After 1900, we have a different type of a things are started. 1927, L.D. White, he has written a book, The Introduction to the Study of Public Administration. He wrote, simply the systems are important, like budgeting is important, personnel is important, working methods are important, rules and regulations are important. This is where public administration means the study of organizations and functioning of organizations. Later about Willoughby. Willoughby is another important man. He called about the principles of administration. Then he explained about how the principles of administration are important. Principles are most important than anything. Slowly, public administration came out of the political science circle and the canvas and established on its own. By 1937, another important aspect has arisen, the papers on science of administration edited by the Luther Gulick and Lyndall Warwick. These people have raised principles is related to as a science. Principles are important than any other thing. So, this is called about a structural system, a classical system of evolution in public administration. Then it has this time has taken 1937-38, again Chester Bernard, The Functions of Executive is another important book has come. From there, Herbert Simon, in 1945, his book of administrative behavior has come. So, afterwards slowly we entered from social systems theory of Chester Bernard to we went to Simon's to behavioralism, some Simon behavioralism to administrative theory went on further for organizational humanism, Abraham Maslow's motivation theories and XY theory of McGregor, two-factor theory of Hertzberg, so on, it goes on and the saga journey of the public administration has continued right from 1887 to till 1970 with a different type of theories linking with psychology, humanism, human relations, sociology, social systems, management, motivation. Like this, a different type of a subjects have related with public administration and merged with public administration and given a different type of a birth of a different type of theories. This we call as an evolution of a public administration. Like a Farrell Hedy and others have developed a different type, or Nicholas Henry, this developed a different type of a systems, a model saying about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. After that, comparative public administration dominated in the public administration era. Fred Riggs, under his leadership, a group has come. After completion of the comparative group, there is a development administrative model has arisen, and the people even from a person named called Goswami from India has identified, coined the word called development administration. It has taken all over the world, has taken by the various people. So, comparative and development administration 1960s and 70s dominated the scene of public administration. After this completion of this, we entered to another model of a market things of public choice school, then new public management, then governance, then electronic governance. Now, we are talking of a digital governance. This is the journey of a public administration as an evolution which started from 1887 as a discipline, as a subject. See, as a student of public administration, we discuss about classical school, human relations school, behavioral school, motivational aspects. What is exactly? The first important aspect is, as a lesson we discussed about a Kautilya, the Orientalism, because Kautilya is one of the ancient political philosopher, discussed about Indian polity at the time of the Kautilya has written Arthashastra, definitely before of a Christ of the 3rd century, that is accepted. So, what exactly, what is state? So, the history of India also, whenever we discuss this matter of administration, history of administration, public administration in India, it starts with the Kautilya and it's end with about Indian constitution. This is up to 1950 and which was about a 3rd century BC. This was all about 2400 years of history we call public administration. He identified a feudal system, a dominant king, but king is going to be assisted by 7 different prakritis. Then king is going to be assisted by a ministers, a purohita, and administration is going to be divided into various subdivisions, etc., up to the village level. Kautilya identified a different canvas. That is one of the historical aspects to understand public administration in India. Then come to classical school. What is classic? Classical. Why you are calling it as a classical? You people generally knowing about classical music, classics. What is this? Classic means it is going to be useful for your everyday life. That is why we are call it as a classic. Mahabharata, the Ramayana, the Bible, the Quran. What is this? These are the classics. Every day, every time you are quoting or talking about it. Ramarajya, Rama said like this, Bible said like this, Krishna said like this in Gita. This is going to be talk every day for your life, if you accept or not. Like that some of the musics, classical music, Carnatic music, Hindustani music, some type of a music instruments, whether you allow it or not, it will come to you. Some people, for example, in Telugu literature like Balasubramaniam, Ghantashala, these people voices all the time echoing in your ears, same with Rafi in North India, like this. So, classics in public administration, classical, what is useful in everyday life. That is why we call it a principles are a classics. Weberian model is a classic. What is the principles? Classical theory, Luther Gulick and Lindahl Urwig said about 10 principles of administration. Started with division of work, departmentalization, deliberate coordination, coordination through committees, coordination through hierarchy, line and staff agencies, span of control, delegation of authority. If you talk of like this, all these principles are part of administration in everyday life, whether public organization or private organization. This will go on as it is without division of work, without committees, without hierarchy. What is in a hierarchy? Authority is coming from the top, information is going from bottom to up. This is what we can say, this is a hierarchy system works. Then division of work, without dividing the work, you cannot get an efficiency. So, like this, classical school, the Luther Gulick and Lindahl Urwig, Henry Fayol, he has experimented with his ideas and purchased all failed closed companies in industries and taken it and show that how it is going to work well in the society. So, how these things are happen? These things Henry Fayol did like this, Luther Gulick and Lindahl Urwig created a principles of organization, and Max Weber's bureaucracy. Bureaucracy is one important aspect is Max Weber said rules are important. Even you are playing a chess, even you are playing a carom board, rules are important. If you simply like that red coin and say that I want to take it, it can't be. You have to play, win it. So, Max Weber says rules are important in an organizational system. He says written documents are important. For each and every activity in organization has to be written, write, record. Even centuries together, it has to be recorded. Now, we will say Napoleon said like this, the Tsar said like this, even at the time of American Revolution, these things are taken place like this. All these are recorded history. Even somebody in the 13th century, 14th century, Ibn Battuta, he started his journey from Morocco and 35 years he has toured the world. He came to India He worked as a legal officer in the Muhammad bin Tughlaq's kingdom, in his palace, how he has explained about India, 14th century philosophy. Marco Polo came to India much before of him, 75 years, how it has written. All these things says that written documents are important. In public administration, you go to any office, each and every file is with a document. Something happened at that so and so year. As an open file, you can see it. That is why we call it as a classical theory. Classical theory basically related about with the 4 people. Luther Gulick and Lindar Burwick, we call it together. Henry Fayol is the first person from a French engineer and administrator. Then about we call Max Weber, a sociologist, and he developed the theory of bureaucracy. Frederick Winslow Taylor, he developed the scientific management principles. These 4 people generally called together as classical thinkers. Why? Because their contributions of a classical theory even now valid, implemented and continuing a lot. Like some of the classical music and classical writings are continuing with us. In the same way, whenever we talk about a bureaucracy, there were some criticisms on a bureaucratic system. The bureaucracy is a mechanistic one. Even whatever we call classical systems, they simply say it is a mechanistic, structured engineering model. They never bothered about the human beings. So, if you talk about that further, important aspect of the Karl Marx, who criticized bureaucracy. So, there is some other important aspect is there. Max Weber, we all the time will talk about Max Weber's bureaucracy because he actually has not coined the word. It was de Gournay, the French economist, in 1754, he coined the word of the bureaucracy, later explained by the different people in different meanings. Only if you talk of bureaucracy, Fredericks has given about 50 different meanings of the bureaucracy. Karl Marx commented on bureaucracy much before of Max Weber. So, he criticized the bureaucratic system is a dependent parasite on the society. Without doing any practical work, it is going to be dictate the authority, showing authority on behalf of the ruler. If ruler is a dictator, these people will behave like a dictator. If a ruler is an imperialistic and doing all the things, they will do the same thing on behalf of the thing. So, these people are not going to have on their own, and moreover, this bureaucracy is alienated from the masses, alienated from the society, alienated from themselves, all the time work as a slave for the power. They work as a slave with their higher officers, and they expect the same slavery from their lower officers. So, in sense, in a particular angle, they lose humanity, isolated from the humanity also. This is what about the Karl Marx a dominant criticism on bureaucracy. But even then, later Rosa Luxemburg and other people, Robert Merton, they have modified to do something about bureaucratic systems. But still, bureaucracy is a dominant authoritative, dominant structure in government. You cannot escape the bureaucratic systems. If you want to modify, you want to do this and that, accepted, but in practice and reality, bureaucracy is, you cannot change it, it has to continue. Even Marxism theories and Soviet Union also came, Soviet Union theory place also. Not only state is bureaucrated, Communist Party also bureaucratized. It is a dominant authority from top to down. The decision making has to come from top, everybody has to follow the same. So, in these aspects, classical school, though it is called classical, yes, in other words it is right because they are useful to us in everyday life. Dear students, after classical school, there is a lot of modernity, change has come to public administration. The study of organization is one of the important aspects. What is this organization? Classical schools also said about a mechanistic organization, static organizations. You can talk on all these things. What is organization? The birth of organization has related with industrialization. This is where we have to keep it in the mind all the time. In public administration or management or political science or sociology, we call organization organization. What is this organization? So, we say the organization as the definition is current, it is a structure, it is going to be people, it is going to be rules, regulation, but the birth of organization was related to industrialization. Industrial organization, a good number of people, they have to work and do produce the things and all these type of things. So, ultimately they said it is an organization. From there we have taken it about administrative organization. How this administrative organization is going to take work? This is one of the basic issue. It started with human relations of Mayo, which is practically to talk nothing to do with administrative organization. He worked in a different type of a companies, the first inquiry with one place, in mill, then a Western Electrical Company of Chicago working on about an experiment on a girl, the two groups of the girls at first level of the 6 members each, then later 5 groups of the girl, 5 members of the 2 groups of the girls of 5 number each, and etc., etc. What exactly he found? Motivation is not going to come from the rules, regulations, authority, managers. All the time human beings interacts with another human being. His happiness lies with another human being. Though he may anger, he may show angry, he may fight, they do every day, they will not talk with each other, but still the motivation comes from another human being. That is what why he has shown it in a bank wiring experiment and other Air Force companies and all these things. Wherever people have come togetherness, if it is a togetherness is created in organization, the work will be more, efficiency will be more, people are motivated. From this angle, Chester Bernard has taken then about what we call social systems theory nowadays. This social systems theory of the Chester Bernard, and he identified organization means not a rule structure, it is men. Their contribution, satisfaction, equilibrium, that is most important. Whatever is contributing, for that what type of satisfaction is getting, this is going to create an equilibrium in organization. I am contributing more, my satisfaction is less, the balance in organization will fail. My contribution is less, my satisfaction is more because of something, even equilibrium fail. Contribution, satisfaction, equilibrium, this he identified and said about wherever informality is there, people enjoy a lot in the work. Wherever more formality is there, the people are not going to enjoy the work. They simply will be isolated. So, that is why he said authority is not in the hands of the person who is giving an order. Authority will be in the person who is accepting it. So, until unless I give an authority, you accept, there is an order. Once there is, you are not accepting, there is no order at all, there is no authority at all. So, that is why he said the duty of an executive or a chief manager or a person, boss is to keep all the people to ready to accept whatever he says. It will happen only with a informal groups. That is why the people call Chester Bernard's writings as the mine of wisdom, and a person who is not even a graduated. Not even a graduate means that he was not having a money, he did not pay the final year fees in BSc. He came out, he joined in a telephone company, later became a general manager and the chairman of the company. Not only that, delivered about a 19 convocation address in the USA, received about 7 doctorates from various places. A person is not having a minimum undergraduate degree. Why? Because he is given a different type of a knowledge to American organizations. Later we have a motivational theories in public administration. Abraham Maslow gives about need hierarchy. So, this is one. Why all the time you are thinking about you are thirsty, you want a water. Why? There is a lot of sunlight and you want a thirsty. You want to know the knowledge, you will go to the library, you will check for a book, days together, identify your thirst. Some is forcing, that forcing is a motivation. So, people have a different type of motivation, different type of a needs according to me. A need is going to be a motivator. Need for a knowledge is a different motivator, food is a different thing. So, that is why he said about a physical needs, then about a security needs, then about a social needs, then about a esteem needs. So, like this he said about ultimately the finally socio-psychological aspects that a person has to reach a top level. You can see a saint, a father or somebody in a temple or some other thing, they all the time think about a different aspects of it. So, like from where we entered about McGregor's XY theory, theory X and theory Y. Theory X was a old model of a management thinking all employees all the time escape the work. This is what the mind of a manager. Then he want to use threaten them, force them, I want to suspend you, cut the increments. But McGregor says follow theory Y. If you give a responsibility, everybody is ready to take it up. You support them, they will show a different colors to you from the work. So, the theory Y is a different aspect which has created a thing. Later theory Z has come, a Japanese model how we implement in American industries. A theory Z is another model also has come in public administration and management theories are concerned. So, this is about behavioralism and other aspects. Later Friedrichs identified comparative public administration. Comparative public administration, he identified three different societies, like in agraria, industria, first he divided. Then later he said about fused, prismatic and diffracted societies. So, fused society is a old model feudal society. Prismatic society is his contribution, like a prism, a sun ray come through a prism, a 7 different colors you can see there like a rainbow. That is what the prism. So, like prismatic society is going to have a different type of a cultural things, economic things, social things, administrative things, etc., etc. And this theory was dominated and his ecological theory. Any administrative system depends on socio-political and economic systems. Otherwise, administrative systems cannot successful. You have to understand these type of things. In this continuity of our journey of public administration on the various theories and concepts, 1970s has given a different role. That is a public choice theory, public concept of a public choice has come. So, what is a public choice? This is basically a market theories, economic model of administration. There is a different type of arguments that started about that how the governments are running, how they are continuing because we are paying a tax, with the tax only they are doing. But the political system which they are elected for every 5 years and all these things and they call it as a democracy, and why there is no democracy in administration, why the bureaucrats are appointed for a lifelong, etc. Arguments have started about that. There should be debureaucratization in administration, public choice. For example, you go to the market and see which hospital you want to go, choice is yours. Like that, people also have a choice for their services. It is not only a government shop, a government things are giving, let it be open a different type of thing even for a ordinary services are concerned. Like previously telephone is dominated by a telephone department, later it has become BSNL, now you have an Airtel, now you have a Jio, previously we have a different type of other things also. So, in the same model services can be given, offer can be given to the public, they can take it from wherever the choice they have to take. It is a clear cut a market theory of a public choice implemented in administrative systems. This theory has started about in 1970s and this public choice school is one of the important school, simply diverting the bureaucrat systems has to become a democratic. It is not a permanent bureaucracy once they join in 30 years and rule and etc., etc. So, this is one model. Another model in new public administration which started about in the 1968 and so later. Minnow-Brook school we call it has continued for the 3 times 1968, 1988 and 2008. This Minnow-Brook school is another school has raised some fundamental questions about the public administration, whether it has to what type of values we have. Simply we are going to follow a government value system, what type of participation methods we have, how the things there are students are doing a lot of dharnas, mobilizations everywhere. What value a bureaucracy and system one public administration schools are doing about. A different type of arguments are created in this school, that is Minnowbrook 1, Minnowbrook 2 and Minnowbrook 3 also it has come. In Minnowbrook 3, one of the important aspect is that they first time concentrated about Asian public administration. There is a lot of research is going on in public administration in Asia and how these things are happening. And a black administrators in America, we are talking in general administration, what about the black people who are in rule, who are in bureaucracy and how they are working. Gender issues were also identified issues, that gender and public administration, etc. These are the some whatever the societal needs are dominating, then a different type of things are going to come to us, and raise issues in public administration is a reflection on Minnowbrook 1, Minnowbrook 2 and Minnowbrook 3. Along with that, we had a postmodernism. Postmodernism basically it has started with a art and culture, later entered into various things including public administration. How a critical theory talks about, this is a Frankfurt school, this Frankfurt school raised some of the issues of a postmodernism. It basically talks that it is not that we have to see all the time from one window, we have to see various windows, a different type of air, a different type of things. If we are seeing from window means I am looking, do not go by one concept is final, think of a different things, from there you have to take. In art they have a cubism, Dadaism, etc., etc. In the same way in administration also, let it be open, debureaucratization. People can become a groups can do the things and all. So, this is a modern postmodern public administration is another important area which is dominated in public administration. They fundamentally questioned the activities of government from only, why are you thinking of only from one angle. That is why we are seeing about a different type of a computer science people are working day and night. Why these timings, why these things, why you are following only one rule, etc. All these things will come about in postmodern public administration. We all these things are discussed in about almost about 3 lectures on this particular area. Then we talk of a globalization in public administration. After 2000, it is a globalized. The world is one. We are talking of particularly after 1991, this theory globalization has started. After the collapse of the Soviet Union, people are saying about the globalization has taken about an important area. World is a simple village, you can talk with anybody, technology dominated. Internet has started, email is one of the important aspect, email started. Then we are talking about a mobile phones, smartphones, a computer has become a laptop nowadays everything all mixed into a small your smartphone, tabs have come about, new apps, new applications are coming, all these things. Even in a government departments are giving about their apps, you can do the things and all, wherever you are, whatever you are, even in a morning or a night and all these things. These things have started a globalized public administration system. This have a two type of a system, both sides sword knife, this is like that. This knife is a different type of thing, sharpened both sides. Sometimes they are very good and available things in the world, we can get it and do, but at the same time our local culture, local systems, local methods are simply going out. Everything we are depending on globalized accepted phenomena. So, these are the some basic problems related about a globalized public administration, and public administration now is facing one of these problems, because globalized public administration means corporatization of public administration also. Public administration has to function like a corporatized, like we talk of benchmarks, we talk of a topic, etc., leaving the common man and his activities. These are the some practical issues related about globalization. Ultimately, after listening to all these things, you are able to understand what is a phenomenon of public administration, how it has started, how its journey has taken place through various stages in the society. Thank you.